Before initiating the practical sessions, I thought this knowledge would be more useful and necessary for all of you. So, one of the most common issues for beginners is understanding the difference between tags, elements, and attributes and block level versus inline elements. Every page consists of a set of HTML tags, elements, and attributes. They all play their roles in their areas. So in this lecture, we will talk about these basic but important terms in the world of HTML. As I have already mentioned in my previous videos that the document of HTML consists of tags. So the first one is tags itself. HTML tags are used to mark up the start, opening, and end closing tags. These are of two types, opening tag and closing tag. C tags are written with the static angular brackets and end with a forward slash with angular bracket, and it denotes to the browser that anything inside of these tags is marked up with specific tag. But there is an exception with the name of void, or we can also say empty tags. Now the question is, why empty tags? Because there are some tags which doesn't hold any content inside them are called empty tags or void tags. So it doesn't require wrapping it with an opening and closing tag. The earliest example of void is HR and img tag. If you notice here, inside of this, in the img tag, we have an attribute called source that tells the browser where to find the image that we want to display. But if you notice, there is no closing tag on this, is all just the opening tag. And that is the only right way, because you will not put a closing tag with the img tag. That would be considered incorrect syntax in HTML5. So this is the concept of void tags. Now the next is self-closing tags. Self-closing was introduced and required by strict XHTML and XML workflows. But according to the new HTML5 rules, you can choose to add or leave off the ending forward slash. As you notice here in the example of img, there is a forward slash at the end. Experts claim that things like images and links do not need and cannot have content. They are just kind of pointers to an element that is installed in the page. So in HTML5, the slash is optional, and in HTML4, the slash is technically invalid, and in XHTML, the slash is required. So this is the leftover from XHTML. You don't need to use it, but if you see it, don't get freaked out by it. You can simply remove that closing slash and use it like a normal HTML tag. Now elements. HTML element is an individual component of an HTML document that represents semantics or meaning to it. We can say they represent part of the document, such as headings and paragraphs. A simple HTML element is made up of an opening tag, a closing tag, and some content, means text, images, etc. between the two. Think of it this way. HTML element represents the document structure, while tags are simply a part of the HTML syntax. For example, here title and opening title and closing title are the tags. But as we know, element is the collection of start and ending tags with the content inserted in between them. So the title with content and closing title is a title element. Now the next thing is attributes. Attributes provide additional information about an element, and attributes are always specified in start tag. All attributes are made up of two parts, a name and a value, and these attribute names and values are case insensitive. These are nothing but the property, or you can say it is the data or custom data that we provide to a tag. Attribute appears inside the opening tag and their values sit inside the quotation marks. They look something like this. The basic structure is here, a tag, then the name of the attribute equals to quotation marks, value of the attribute, then any text or caption, and then the closing tag. Once again, quotation marks aren't always essential, but it is a good practice convention. Then there are the 4 core attributes: ID, title, class, and style. The ID attribute of an HTML tag can be used to uniquely identify any element within an HTML page. Then the title attribute gives a suggested title for the element. Then the class attribute is used to describe an element with a style sheet. We will learn more about the class attribute in next CSS tutorials later on. Then the style attribute allows you to specify CSS rules within the element like the font, color, etc. Here a simple example of an attribute. The paragraph tag is with the attribute align. Here the name is the property you want to set. The paragraph P element in the example carries an attribute whose name is align, that is, can use to indicate a line of a paragraph on the page. Then the value is what you want the value of the property to be set, and always put within quotations. These are all about attributes, elements, and all the tags. Now we will move to our next topic, inline versus block level elements. Now tags can either be inline or block level elements. So inline tags or inline elements do not start a new line when you use. Okay, they take only the necessary space which they need. Block level elements, however, start a new line and they take the full width of that line. If this is confusing, don't worry about it. I will give you some examples. Inline level elements include span, img tag, anchor tag, whereas block level elements include tags like div, h1 to h6, all heading tags, p tag, and form tags. So let me give you a practical example for that. Let me open our Atom editor. As I open the editor, our previous file is there. So for inline element, I will be using an img tag, that is image tag. Press enter, just type img and press the tab. As you press it, two options are there. First is source and the second one is alt. In the source attribute, we have to type we have to give the address of the image that you want to insert, or alt is the alternative text for the image. If the image is not showing in the web, then the text is represent the name of the image. As you have to give the path of the image here, then go to your desktop or any image you want to insert. See here, I have an image named as images.jpg. So go in your Atom editor and write the complete path of the image here, images.jpg, and you can give the alternate text like HTML5 or whatever you want to type. Then save it and reload it in the browser, packages, Atom Live server, and start server. As you here see, first website.html. Okay, for your convenience, let me adjust my screen. And remove this name so it will be easy for me to describe you the concept. As you see here, our image is there. Again, copy it and paste it. Now the second image is there. Now what I want to tell here is that the next image that we have here is not going to be moved to the next line. It will be displayed on the same line because img tag is a inline tag. It doesn't allow the content to move to the next line, or it won't take the entire width of the parent container. As you press here the inspect, let me show you at the full screen. See, as you hover your cursor in the first section of the img, only the limited part of the screen got highlighted. Then the same thing is with the second img. So this is the concept of inline text. Now the next example of block level elements. For block level element, I want to take an example of p tag, that is paragraph tag. It's up to you what you want to write. Let me write like code classroom is my YouTube channel. Okay. As you press the Ctrl S and reload the browser, you can see here the p element takes a new line. You can take another p tag for the better understanding. Just again copy paste this same line. Hit enter and Ctrl V. Reload your browser. Yes, that's the thing I want to convey you, that p tag takes the full line. Let me show you a block diagram for that. See, this is the basic idea behind the block level elements and inline elements. So this is it about today. In our next video, I will tell you how you edit your text, spacing, styles, paragraphs and many more. Stay tuned.